Ladies and gentlemen, let us talk about pain not as an abstract idea, but as the inescapable reality that shapes every human life. Pain is universal. It knows no boundaries, spares no person, and yet it offers a profound opportunity, the chance to transform it into something extraordinary. A woman who transforms pain is not someone who denies its existence or pretends it does not affect her. No, she confronts it fully. She acknowledges the unfairness, the heartbreak, the chaos that life has thrown at her. But then she asks herself a question that changes everything. What will I do with this pain? That is where transformation begins. The first and most courageous step she takes is to reject the role of a victim. Victimhood is easy. It requires no effort, no growth, no accountability. But she chooses differently. She decides to take responsibility not for what happened to her, but for what happens next. This act alone is revolutionary. It shifts her focus from what is beyond her control to what lies squarely within it, her response, her attitude, her next move. She understands something profound about suffering. It can be given meaning. When a woman aligns her pain with a purpose, it ceases to be a weight and becomes fuel. The hardships she faces are no longer senseless. They are building blocks for something greater. Perhaps she uses her pain to help others, to raise her children, to create art, or to lead a movement. Whatever it is, she finds a way to make it matter. But this transformation is not effortless. It requires discipline. Discipline to rise each morning and face the day. Discipline to build systems and habits that protect her from the chaos of the world. Discipline to say, I will not let this break me. I will build something stronger instead. And with discipline comes structure, the very framework that allows growth to occur. Let's not forget, however, that transformation is not a polite process. It is a battle against chaos, and chaos is terrifying. She must summon courage, raw, primal courage to step into the unknown. She knows that confronting the darkness might mean facing fears she buried long ago, but she also knows that running from it will only make it grow. In the end, this woman does not merely survive her pain, she transcends it. She channels it into something beautiful and constructive, becoming a leader in the process. Her story, her journey inspires others to confront their own pain and take up the challenge of transformation. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how one woman can turn her suffering into a force of creativity and leadership. She becomes more than a survivor. She becomes a symbol of what is possible. This is not an easy path, but it is the highest one. It is the path of courage, responsibility, and meaning. And in taking it, a woman does not just transform her pain, she transforms the world around her. And so I leave you with this. What will you do with your pain? Will you let it define you, or will you rise above it and create something extraordinary? The choice is yours. Choose wisely. It's the universality of suffering. Pain is not a unique experience, but a universal one, woven into the very fabric of human existence. From the moment we are born, we enter a world fraught with uncertainty, challenges, and loss. No one is spared. Suffering is part of the human condition. Yet, despite its inevitability, many of us spend our lives trying to avoid, deny, or numb this fundamental reality. But what if, instead of running from pain, we paused to confront it? What if we truly understood its universality and what that understanding demands of us? Consider the fact that every individual, regardless of background, faces suffering in some form. It may manifest as physical hardship, emotional trauma, or existential despair. For some, it is the pain of failure, rejection, or betrayal. For others, it is the loss of a loved one, the burden of illness, or the silent ache of unrealized dreams. The specifics differ, but the core experience is shared. Pain does not discriminate based on wealth, status, or morality. It touches us all, reminding us of our shared vulnerability and humanity. This truth can be unsettling. Acknowledging the universality of suffering forces us to confront the fragility of life, the limits of control, and the inevitability of loss. It is no wonder that many seek to avoid it, turning to distractions, addictions, or false narratives that promise escape. But these are fleeting solutions. The more we run from pain, the more it festers, growing into something that controls us rather than something we can confront and transform. Recognizing the universality of suffering shifts our perspective. It allows us to see that pain is not a punishment, nor is it evidence of personal failure. Instead, it is part of the human story, a chapter that everyone must write. This realization can be liberating. If everyone suffers, then suffering itself cannot be what defines us. What defines us is how we respond to it. This response begins with accepting pain as a teacher. Pain is a relentless, uncompromising force that demands attention. It strips away illusions and forces us to ask difficult questions about who we are, what we value, and what we are willing to fight for. It has the power to clarify priorities, strengthen resolve, and ignite transformation. But this only happens if we choose to listen to what it has to say. Understanding the universality of suffering also cultivates compassion for ourselves and for others. When we recognize that everyone carries burdens, we begin to see others not as adversaries or strangers, but as fellow travelers on the same difficult road. This empathy can deepen relationships, inspire acts of kindness, and create connections that are both profound and enduring. Pain, then, is not merely something to be endured, but something to be explored and even embraced. It is the soil in which growth takes root, the fire that forges resilience, and the force that unites humanity in its shared experience. To understand this is to take the first step toward transformation. By acknowledging the universality of suffering, we open the door to finding meaning within it, a meaning that can light the way forward. Personal responsibility over victimhood. When confronted with pain and suffering, the easiest path is to assume the role of the victim. It is tempting because victimhood offers an explanation for our hardships while absolving us of responsibility. This happened to me, we tell ourselves, and in that statement we may find a strange kind of solace. Yet, while victimhood may provide temporary relief, it is ultimately a trap, a position that leaves us powerless and stagnant, unable to move beyond our pain. A life defined by victimhood is a life relinquished to circumstances, and this is not a life that flourishes. To take responsibility for our lives, even in the face of pain, is not to deny the reality of injustice, misfortune, or betrayal. Responsibility does not mean blaming ourselves for the things that have happened to us, nor does it diminish the severity of what we've endured. Rather, it is the recognition that, while we may not control the past, we have immense power over the present and the future. This shift from dwelling on what was taken from us to focusing on what we can build is the essence of personal responsibility. A woman who transforms pain begins by understanding that the narrative she constructs around her suffering matters profoundly. She recognizes that victimhood, while comforting in the short term, locks her into a story of powerlessness. To reclaim her life, she must rewrite that narrative. Instead of saying, "This broke me," she learns to say, "This shaped me." Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" she asks, "What can I do with what has happened?" These questions change the trajectory of her life. Taking responsibility does not imply that the journey will be easy. It demands confronting difficult truths about ourselves and the world. It requires stepping into discomfort, owning our choices, and making peace with the fact that life is not fair. But in doing so, we gain something invaluable: agency. Responsibility is the antidote to victimhood because it puts the power back in our hands. It allows us to decide how we will respond to adversity, how we will adapt, and what kind of person we will become in the process. This shift is transformative. When we choose responsibility over victimhood, we stop seeing ourselves as passive recipients of pain and start viewing ourselves as active participants in life. We begin to ask, "What can I learn from this?" Or "How can I use this experience to grow?" These are not easy questions, but they are the questions that lead to strength, resilience, and meaning. This transformation ripples outward. A woman who takes responsibility for her life inspires others to do the same. Her example challenges the narrative of helplessness and victimhood that so often dominates our culture. She becomes a beacon of hope, showing that it is possible to endure pain without being consumed by it, to face suffering without succumbing to it. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a gift. It is the key to reclaiming power, purpose, and possibility in the face of life's inevitable hardships. In choosing responsibility over victimhood, a woman not only transforms her pain but also herself. She emerges stronger, wiser, and freer than she ever thought possible. The transformative power of meaning. Pain, when left unchecked, can feel senseless, overwhelming, and suffocating. It weighs heavily on the spirit, threatening to rob life of its color and direction. But pain, as harrowing as it is, carries within it a profound opportunity, the chance to transform it through the pursuit of meaning. The act of finding meaning in suffering does not erase the pain, but it fundamentally changes its nature, turning it from a crushing burden into a source of purpose, growth, and even strength. The pursuit of meaning begins with a simple yet profound realization: while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control the story we tell about it. Pain without meaning feels arbitrary and cruel, but pain imbued with purpose becomes something more, a tool for understanding ourselves and the world. This shift in perspective is neither automatic nor easy. It requires a conscious decision to ask difficult questions such as, "Why has this happened? What can I learn from it? How can I use this experience to contribute something valuable to the world?" These are not questions that yield answers immediately, but the process of asking them is itself transformative. When a woman finds meaning in her suffering, it becomes a lens through which she redefines her identity. Pain that once seemed to shatter her sense of self now becomes a catalyst for growth. She no longer sees herself solely as someone who was hurt, but as someone who overcame, adapted, and flourished. Her pain becomes a marker of her resilience, not her defeat. It becomes a bridge to deeper self-awareness, revealing strengths, values, and priorities that she may not have recognized otherwise. Meaning is not just an internal transformation, it has a ripple effect on the external world. A woman who has found purpose in her pain often becomes a source of inspiration and guidance for others. By sharing her story and using her experience to help those around her, she transforms her suffering into a force for good. Whether it's mentoring others who face similar struggles, advocating for change, or creating art that speaks to the human condition, she demonstrates that even the darkest moments can be used to create light. Her actions show others that pain, while inevitable, does not have to be pointless. This transformative power of meaning is grounded in action. It is not enough to reflect passively on suffering. Meaning is created through deliberate effort. This might involve channeling pain into work, relationships, or creativity. It might mean taking steps to heal, forgive, or let go of resentment. It always involves moving forward, even when the way ahead feels uncertain. Each action taken in the service of meaning builds momentum, gradually shifting the focus from what was lost to what can still be gained. Finding meaning in pain is a process that requires courage, patience, and self-compassion. It is not a single epiphany, but an ongoing journey. And while it does not remove the sting of suffering, it transforms that suffering into something larger, something deeply human. Pain, when imbued with meaning, becomes not just something to endure, but something to use, something to honor, and ultimately something to transcend. The importance of discipline and structure. In the face of pain and chaos, the human instinct is often to retreat, to let the world unravel as we wrestle with our suffering. Yet, in these moments of darkness, discipline and structure emerge as the lifelines that prevent us from being consumed. Discipline is not merely an act of willpower, it is a declaration of intent, a refusal to let pain dictate the terms of our existence. Structure is its companion, the framework within which discipline operates, turning chaos into order and despair into progress. Together, they are the foundation upon which transformation is built. Discipline begins with small, deliberate choices. It is the decision to get out of bed when the weight of the world feels insurmountable. It is the commitment to show up for oneself even when the motivation is absent. Pain has a way of pulling us into stagnation, whispering that effort is futile. Discipline counters this lie, insisting that action, however small, matters. It reminds us that progress is not always visible in the moment, but accumulates over time, like drops of water carving through stone. Structure complements discipline by providing a sense of predictability and stability in a world that often feels unmanageable. When everything seems to be falling apart, the routines and systems we establish become anchors, giving us something to hold on to. Structure is not rigid or restrictive, rather, it is a tool for creating clarity. It helps us prioritize what matters, manage our energy, and stay focused on the steps needed to move forward. Whether it's a morning ritual, a work schedule, or a personal practice of reflection, structure turns intention into action. The relationship between discipline and structure is dynamic. Discipline helps us maintain structure, and structure in turn supports discipline. When life becomes overwhelming, it is easy to lose sight of long-term goals or values. This is where structure proves invaluable, breaking down the enormity of challenges into manageable pieces. It allows us to focus on what can be done today, rather than being paralyzed by the magnitude of what lies ahead. In the context of pain, discipline and structure serve a deeper purpose. They create space for healing, growth, and transformation. Without them, pain can spiral into chaos, manifesting as destructive behaviors or endless cycles of rumination. But with discipline, we take steps to address our pain, whether through therapy, creative expression, or meaningful work. With structure, we build environments that support our well-being, surrounding ourselves with practices and people that uplift rather than drain us. Discipline also teaches us something profound about resilience. It shows us that we are capable of enduring discomfort, and that growth often requires stepping outside of our comfort zones. Every act of discipline is a victory, however small, reinforcing the belief that we are stronger than our circumstances. Over time, this belief becomes self-reinforcing, creating a sense of agency that transforms how we view both ourselves and our pain. Pain, by its nature, is chaotic. It disrupts, destabilizes, and disorients. Discipline and structure are the tools we use to counteract this chaos, reclaiming control and creating a path forward. They do not eliminate pain, but they give us the means to face it with courage and purpose. And in doing so, They become the scaffolding upon which we rebuild our lives stronger and more resilient than before. The role of courage in facing chaos. Life, by its very nature, is chaotic. It is unpredictable, messy, and often far beyond our control. We are all vulnerable to the sudden shifts, the unforeseen disasters, and the unpredictable challenges that life throws our way. In these moments of chaos, when everything seems to be falling apart, it is easy to shrink back and retreat. It is tempting to shut down, to hide from the uncertainty, and to let fear take control. Yet, it is precisely in these chaotic times that courage becomes essential, for it is courage that allows us to move forward, face the unknown, and find our way through the storm. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is not the absence of pain or struggle. Rather, courage is the willingness to act in spite of fear, to move forward despite the uncertainty, and to confront the chaos head on. It is the capacity to look at the challenges before us, to acknowledge the fear and discomfort they bring, and to say, I will keep going. Courage does not require us to have all the answers or a clear path forward. It simply demands that we take the next step, however small, and continue on the journey. In times of personal pain and hardship, the chaos can feel overwhelming. It often appears as though the world is spiraling out of control, and we are powerless to stop it. In these moments, courage becomes a lifeline. It gives us the strength to stand firm, even when we feel fragile. Courage enables us to face the unknown, to take risks, and to push through the fear that seeks to paralyze us. It allows us to say, I will not let this pain define me. I will move through it, and I will move through it, and I will emerge stronger. One of the most powerful aspects of courage is that it is not something we are born with, it is something we cultivate. It is built through experience, through repetition, and through an unwavering commitment to face the challenges in front of us. Every time we confront our fears, every time we take a step forward in the face of chaos, we strengthen our courage. It is a muscle, one that grows with use, becoming more resilient and more powerful the more we exercise it. Over time, courage becomes a part of who we are, an integral aspect of our identity that we can rely on when everything else feels uncertain. Facing chaos with courage does not mean ignoring the pain or pretending that everything is fine. It means accepting the reality of our circumstances while choosing to move through them with resolve. It means acknowledging the darkness but refusing to let it consume us. Courage is the decision to keep going even when the path ahead is unclear and the odds are stacked against us. It is the quiet strength that allows us to face adversity and emerge on the other side transformed. This is especially important for women, who often face unique forms of pain and struggle. Whether it is societal expectations, personal loss, or challenges specific to their lives, women are frequently confronted with forces that seek to diminish their power or undermine their confidence. Yet, when a woman finds the courage to face these challenges head-on, she does more than just survive, she thrives. She becomes an example of what is possible when we refuse to shrink back, when we refuse to be defined by our circumstances. Courage is not just an individual act, it has a ripple effect. When we choose courage, we inspire others to do the same. Our courage gives others permission to face their own fears, to step into their own chaotic circumstances with strength and determination. By choosing to confront the unknown, we become leaders, guiding others through their own struggles. The courage to face chaos transforms not just ourselves, but the world around us, creating a community of resilience, strength, and hope. In a world that often seems unpredictable and chaotic, courage is the anchor that keeps us grounded. It is the force that drives us forward, enabling us to navigate the most turbulent of times. And while it may not make the chaos disappear, courage allows us to face it with strength, resolve, and unwavering hope. It is the courage to stand tall in the face of pain, to push through the darkness, and to emerge victorious on the other side. This courage is the key to transforming chaos into something meaningful, something powerful. Pain as a catalyst for creativity and leadership. Pain, often viewed as an obstacle or a weight to bear, carries within it an incredible potential to be a catalyst for creativity and leadership. This idea challenges the common belief that suffering merely impedes progress and hinders achievement. In reality, pain has the ability to shape individuals in ways that nothing else can. When faced with personal or collective hardship, the response can be transformative, becoming a wellspring of creativity that leads not only to self-discovery, but also to the development of leadership qualities that inspire and guide others. When a woman faces pain, Whether from personal loss, societal obstacles, or inner struggles, she is presented with a choice: allow the pain to break her or use it as fuel to create something meaningful. It is in the crucible of hardship that creativity is often born. The raw, unfiltered emotions that pain elicits, grief, anger, frustration, can spark a deep need to express oneself. Whether through art, music, writing, or problem solving, pain has the power to push individuals to explore new ways of thinking, new methods of expression, and new avenues of possibility. These creative pursuits become an outlet for pain, transforming it into something constructive and impactful. In the process, the individual is often forced to confront difficult truths about themselves, their environment, and the world around them, which can lead to breakthroughs in both personal and creative development. The creative process ignited by pain is not just about the creation of tangible works of art or expression. It is about the transformation of suffering into purpose, using the hardship to cultivate new perspectives and solutions. In the face of adversity, a woman might begin to see possibilities where others see barriers. The struggles she faces may lead her to develop innovative solutions to problems she never thought she could solve. Pain becomes the lens through which she reframes her world, making her not only a creator but a problem solver, a visionary who uses her unique experiences to bring forth change. Furthermore, pain has a profound impact on leadership. In fact, many of the greatest leaders throughout history have risen from backgrounds of intense personal suffering. Pain sharpens empathy, and empathy is the cornerstone of effective leadership. When a woman has walked through the fire of her own pain, she is more equipped to understand the struggles of others. She becomes a compassionate leader who can connect with others on a deep human level. Her vulnerability, born from her pain, becomes a powerful tool for building trust, fostering connection, and inspiring others. She leads not from a place of detachment or perfection, but from a place of realness, showing others that they too can endure, transform, and rise above their challenges. Pain also teaches resilience, a quality that is essential for effective leadership. Every time a woman faces a setback, a failure, or a difficult situation and chooses to rise again, she builds her resilience. This resilience becomes a powerful tool in leadership, as it allows her to navigate challenges with strength and confidence. Resilient leaders inspire those around them because they show that setbacks are not the end, but an opportunity to grow and continue. This kind of leadership is rooted in the understanding that pain is not a defeat, but rather an opportunity for growth. Additionally, a woman who uses pain as a catalyst for creativity and leadership becomes a source of inspiration for others. Her journey shows others that pain is not something to avoid or deny, but something to embrace and learn from. She becomes a beacon of hope for those in similar situations, showing that there is life beyond suffering, that transformation is possible, and that pain does not need to define one's future. Through her creative endeavors and leadership, she builds a ripple effect of empowerment, encouraging others to use their own pain to fuel positive change in their lives and in the world. In summary, pain, though undeniably challenging, holds the potential to become the most powerful force for creativity and leadership. Through pain, a woman can unlock her deepest creative potential, develop profound empathy, and emerge as a resilient and inspiring leader. Far from being something that diminishes her, pain becomes the very source of her strength and influence, shaping her into someone capable of creating and leading in ways that would not have been possible without the struggles she faced. By transforming pain into purpose, she not only changes her own life, but becomes a force that shapes the world around her. In conclusion, the journey of a woman who transforms pain is not one of avoidance or passive endurance, but one of active engagement with the challenges life throws her way. Pain, rather than being something that breaks her, becomes a catalyst for her growth, creativity, and strength. By recognizing that suffering is a universal experience, she moves beyond victimhood, embracing responsibility and agency. In this process, she taps into her deep well of resilience, discovering that the pain she faces can be the very thing that propels her forward into new realms of self-awareness and purpose. Discipline and structure provide her with the tools to navigate chaos, while courage enables her to face the unknown with unwavering resolve. Through all of this, pain becomes the forge in which her leadership is honed, allowing her to inspire, empower, and create in ways that not only transform her own life, but the lives of others around her. Ultimately, a woman who transforms pain understands that it is not the absence of suffering that makes life meaningful, but how she chooses to face, shape, and rise from it.